entering this season right now, a team that's going to continue to look to get better and improve in the Eastern Conference. And we've talked about this before. RJ Barrett is certainly a name that I would tell you and tell Raptors fans to be on the lookout as a potential trade candidate going out the door with his, roughly $30 million in salary to go out and be a major buyer and see what they can achieve with RJ Barrett's salary. He was someone that...
Could the departure of Toronto's hometown hero be the key to unlocking championship glory? We've just witnessed insider Jake Fisher drop a bombshell report about the most crucial roster decision facing Bobby Webster and the front office this offseason. The cosmic basketball powers seem determined to test the Raptors' championship DNA with a choice that could define the next 5 years of franchise history. Picture this. A mysterious trade scenario involving a 25-year-old scoring machine whose $57 million contract might hold the secret to the most pivotal roster transformation since acquiring Kawhi Leonard. I'm about to reveal the shocking insider details that most Raptors fans are completely overlooking about this potential blockbuster move. What's good, Raptors Nation? Welcome back to Quick Court, your premier destination for elite basketball analysis. Today we're breaking down the most complex roster construction puzzle facing Bobby Webster. How exactly does moving our leading scorer fit into the master plan that Bobby Webster and the front office have been quietly assembling since acquiring Brandon Ingram? Drop your predictions in the comments because we're diving deep into luxury tax implications and positional redundancy that could reshape this entire roster. The latest intel from NBA insider Jake Fisher has sent shockwaves through Raptors Nation, and for good reason. Fisher confirmed what many of us suspected. The organization is actively shopping RJ Barrett as they hunt for a significant roster upgrade. According to league sources, Toronto has continued to gauge the trade market on Barrett, who's owed approximately $57.3 million over the next 2 seasons after averaging a career-high 21.1 points, 6.3 rebounds, and 5.4 assists per game last season. But here's where it gets interesting, and this is something most analysts are missing completely. The pressure isn't just coming from the basketball operations department, it's coming from the very top of MLSE. Fisher revealed that the Raptors have been given formal direction from their new leadership to end the rebuild era that's been lingering since the departures of Kawhi Leonard and Kyle Lowry after the 2019 championship. What do you think about that level of organizational pressure? Are you ready to see this team make aggressive moves to get back to playoff contention? The timing of this report isn't coincidental. Brandon Ingram has already agreed to a 3-year, $120 million extension with the Raptors before ever playing a game for Toronto due to his ankle injury that has kept him sidelined since December. This massive financial commitment creates a domino effect that puts Barrett's future in serious question. The roster construction suddenly becomes much more complicated when you're paying big money to 2 forwards who occupy similar spaces on the court. Let's break down the financial reality here. The Raptors are dancing dangerously close to the luxury tax line, with Barrett set to earn $27.7 million in 2025-26 and $29.6 million in 2026-27. When you factor in Scottie Barnes earning $38.7 million next season as his massive extension kicks in forward, Emmanuel quickly locked in at $35 million annually, and now Ingram's extension averaging $40 million per season, the math becomes crystal clear. Someone has to go. And if you're being completely honest about roster construction, do you really see Barrett, Ingram, and Barnes all thriving together on the court? That's a lot of ball-dominant wings competing for touches. Barrett's representation has reportedly been made aware that his name will be discussed in trade conversations moving forward. This isn't speculation anymore, this is reality. The organization that traded for their hometown star just over a year ago is now prepared to move him for the right return package. But before you get upset about potentially losing Barrett, remember what we're dealing with here. Since joining Toronto, Barrett has elevated his game to career-high levels. His 21.1 points per game last season led the team, and he showed remarkable improvement as a playmaker with 5.4 assists per game. This isn't about Barrett's talent or production. This is about maximizing championship potential. What makes Barrett so attractive on the trade market right now is that combination of production, age woes, and contract structure. At 25 years old, he should be entering his prime years, and his 4-year, $107 million contract runs through 2026 to 27. Teams looking to add a proven scorer who can contribute immediately will find Barrett's profile extremely appealing. If you're hitting that like button right now, drop a comment and let me know. What type of player would you want to see the Raptors target in return for Barrett? The Eastern Conference landscape has shifted dramatically with injuries to key players like Tyrese Halliburton and Jason Tatum. Multiple teams sense an opening. And Toronto appears determined not to let this opportunity slip away. The acquisition of Ingram was the first domino. Moving Barrett could be the second piece in a much larger puzzle. Here's what most people don't realize about this situation. The Raptors already explored including Barrett in the Brandon Ingram trade discussions with New Orleans earlier this season. The Pelicans preferred the expiring contracts of Bruce Brown and Kelly Olynyk over Barrett's longer-term deal. This tells us two important things. Toronto was already willing to part with Barrett for the right piece, and other teams recognize his value but might prefer different contract structures depending on their specific needs. Current rumors suggest teams like the Brooklyn Nets could be potential landing spots. League insiders indicate both teams could explore a deal centered around draft positioning and talent consolidation, potentially involving Barrett and Toronto's 9th pick. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button if you're enjoying this breakdown. We're just getting started with the analysis. The fit concerns are legitimate when you look at the starting lineup on paper. Ingram, Barrett, and Barnes all prefer to operate in similar areas of the court. Emmanuel Quickley remains the only consistent outside shooter among the projected starters, alongside Jakob Poeltl in the middle. That's a spacing nightmare waiting to happen in today's NBA. A volume three-point shooter with strong defensive instincts would theoretically create a much cleaner fit than Barrett at the shooting guard position. This isn't about Barrett's individual talent. It's about roster construction and maximizing the collective ceiling of this group. What's fascinating is how Barrett's trade value has actually increased since arriving in Toronto. His shooting efficiency improved dramatically, jumping to 50% from the field and 36% from three-point range. These aren't empty stats on a rebuilding team. This represents genuine growth as a player. Are you starting to see why so many teams might be interested in acquiring Barrett? He's proven he can be a primary scorer while also showing growth as a facilitator and improved shooting efficiency. The pressure from MLSE ownership adds another layer to this situation. When ownership gives formal direction to accelerate the competitive timeline, that's not a suggestion. That's a mandate. The front office, now led by Bobby Webster, has to balance competing priorities, maintaining long-term flexibility while making win-now moves. Some critics have labeled the Ingram acquisition as a desperate move, questioning both the fit and the financial commitment. But when you step back and look at the bigger picture, it starts to make more sense. If you can flip Barrett for a piece that fits better alongside Ingram and Barnes, suddenly the roster construction looks much more coherent. Think about it this way. If you could trade Barrett for a proven 3-and-D wing or an elite center, does that make the Ingram deal look smarter in hindsight? The timing of any potential Barrett trade will be crucial. With training camp still months away and Ingram working his way back from ankle surgery, there's no immediate rush. Recent reports confirm that Ingram has been cleared for contact and is pain-free, working out with the team in Las Vegas for summer league activities. This gives the front office time to evaluate potential trade packages and find the right fit for Barrett. International interest could also play a factor. Barrett's Canadian roots make him incredibly valuable from a marketing perspective, but basketball decisions often override sentimental considerations. Just look at how the organization handled DeMar DeRozan's departure. Sometimes tough decisions lead to championship banners. Hit that notification bell if you want to stay updated on all the latest Barrett trade developments. This situation is moving fast. The most intriguing aspect of this entire scenario is what it reveals about the organization's championship timeline. By extending Ingram and exploring Barrett trades, they're clearly signaling a shift toward immediate competitiveness. This isn't a patient rebuild anymore. This is championship or bust. If Barrett does get moved, the return package will tell us everything about Bobby Webster's priorities and the front office's vision. Are they targeting immediate playoff success, or are they still building for sustainable long-term excellence? The answer to that question will define the next era of Raptors basketball. Looking ahead to the 2025-26 season, roster construction becomes absolutely critical. Coach Darko Rajakovic will need to maximize whatever pieces remain after potential trades. If Barrett stays, figuring out the 3-forward rotation becomes paramount. If he goes, though, the return pieces need to complement the Ingram-Barnes duo perfectly. What's your gut feeling about this situation? Do you think Barrett will still be in a Raptors uniform when the season starts? Or are we looking at his final months in Toronto? The Eastern Conference arms race is heating up, and standing still means falling behind. Every contender is making moves to improve their championship odds. The Raptors can't afford to let roster construction concerns prevent them from maximizing their competitive window. Remember, championships aren't won on paper. They're won by teams that maximize chemistry, minimize weaknesses, and peak at the right moments. If moving Barrett helps achieve those goals, it becomes a necessary business decision regardless of his individual talent level. One final thought before we wrap up. Barrett's development since joining Toronto has been remarkable. His improved playmaking, better shot selection, and enhanced leadership qualities make him an attractive trade asset. The hometown connection adds emotional complexity. But championship organizations like the one Bobby Webster is building prioritize basketball fit over sentiment. The bottom line is this: RJ Barrett's future in Toronto hangs in the balance, and the next few months will determine whether he's part of the championship solution or a valuable trade chip in pursuit of banner number 2. Whatever happens, this organization is clearly committed to aggressive roster construction in pursuit of immediate success. What do you think the Raptors should do? Keep Barrett and figure out the fit, or trade him for pieces that complement Ingram and Barnes better? Drop your thoughts in the comments section. I read every single one and love hearing your perspectives on these massive roster decisions. Don't forget to smash that like button if this breakdown helped you understand the Barrett trade situation better. Subscribe for more in-depth Raptors analysis, and hit that notification bell so you never miss breaking news. Thanks for rocking with Quick Court at Raptors Nation. We'll see you in the next one where we break down potential trade packages that could reshape this roster completely.